let me go back across to Arunil. Arunil, this is sensational. Not only was all of this planned here on Times Now, we've actually managed to put out the possible reason and motive behind that murder, that too in the form of WhatsApp chats and messages, and of course there were posts on social media as well. Tell us, what is the larger conspiracy? Because the unfortunate bit about all of this is that his own very close friend played a huge role in alerting these radical elements about his support for Nupur Sharma.
The larger conspiracy, very good question by you, Meghna, over here. The larger conspiracy is very gruesome. It is extremely grave, because it was only a forwarded message that Umesh Kolhe had sent on this WhatsApp group of Black Freedom. The WhatsApp group was in that medical practitioners from Amravati as well as from the surrounding areas of Kolhe and all, people from the medical fraternity were on this group. On this group, he had forwarded that message of "I support Nupur Sharma" on the 14th of June. Now, on this very group, there was another person. His name can also be seen. It is Dr. Yusuf Sir. Now, Yusuf is basically Yusuf Khan. We spoke to the brother of Umesh Kolhe as well. He confirmed, saying that Umesh Kolhe and Yusuf Khan both knew each other since 16 long years. They had professional relations, but both used to visit each other's house during special occasions as well. There was some money that was being lended by Umesh Kolhe to Yusuf Khan. Now, it was Yusuf Khan who allegedly forwarded these messages of Nupur Sharma to the Rebar Foundation group. Now, Rebar Foundation is very much in the spotlight over here, because the owner of Rebar Foundation, an NGO, is Irfan Sheikh. Irfan Sheikh has been seen as the main mastermind in this entire attack. He was not present at the murder site. There were 6 other people belonging to him. They carried out the attack, but the attack was planned by Irfan Sheikh. That's what we are understanding. And another crucial development is that by June 10th, this is around 11 days before this horrific murder that took place in Amravati, there were some threatening calls being made by the same Rebar Foundation people to several people from Amravati who had posted in support of Nupur Sharma. They were also said that if you don't post a social media apology saying with respect to Nupur Sharma, saying that whatever they have posted, they take back their comments, then untoward incident will take place against them. The business were also being threatened by these people who were calling these prominent people in Amravati, those who supported Nupur Sharma. And this was all in public domain. The public apology was in public domain. These threatening calls, the cops had these threatening calls as well, but they didn't take any action. If any action was taken by June 10th and June 11th, they just had to go through the phone records of the people who were threatened, and immediately the number could have been reflected, but they didn't do it. And that is why one can say that Umesh Kolhe is no more with us. His family has suffered so much, and if this alert was properly released, then
in fact, do stay on with us. Do stay on with us. That's an important point, and it's important for our viewers to also know how our investigation here on Times Now has revealed just how support messages for Nupur and the Prime Minister had possibly been the reason why he was being murdered in this way. In fact, a day before his death, Umesh had also posted messages on WhatsApp as well. So, in fact, let me go across to Ravi Rana, who's joining us with more details on this. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Can you tell us about the larger plot which seems to be unraveling now? It makes it very clear that this crime was not just a sudden murder, but it was pre-planned, and perhaps the reason behind it was his support and his ideology.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? Well, we'll try and reconnect. We'll just try and reconnect with you. Meanwhile, let's tell our viewers how we were telling you earlier, how Yusuf Khan was also part of the group. He is one of the accused in the exclusive chats that Times Now has managed to access. Watch this entire report. Kritsween, my colleague, gets you details of the WhatsApp chats.
Kritsween, those were the very same forwards on WhatsApp that were shared by Umesh Kolhe that cost him his life.
Yes, absolutely. And it is Yusuf, his very dear friend for the past 16 years, who'd in fact forwarded some of those WhatsApp messages, the forwarded messages to the Rebaria group as well. But if we talk about this particular WhatsApp group, Amita, this group goes by the name Black Freedom, of which both Kolhe and Yusuf were part of. 60 participants in this particular group, and quickly once again putting out, this is how his name is saved here. These are the WhatsApp chats that we're talking about, in which he's made a few, he in fact forwarded a few pro Modi and pro Nupur Sharma WhatsApp chats, and look at the messages that have been forwarded.
In fact, Ravi Rana is also joining us now. Now, Ravi Rana, of course, you as well as your wife, you've written to the Home Ministry demanding an MNIA probe. Do you think that the brutality of this all of it, begins with intolerance and hate, the way this entire crime was committed?
जिस तरीके से पूरा प्री प्लानिंग ही था
जी।
और ये घटना होने के एक दिन पहले भी उनको धमकी आई थी, और जिस तरह से वो हिंदुत्व की बात करते थे और नुपुर शर्मा मैटर में उन्होंने जो पोस्ट किया था उसके बारे में पुलिस को भी पता था कि इस तरह से कुछ चल रहा है, पर पुलिस ने उसको सीरियसली न लेते हुए उसको टालने की कोशिश की, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं इसमें जो मैटर दिख रहा था, घटना हो गई, घटना होने के बाद भी दबाने की कोशिश की, घटना होने के पहले भी लाइटली लिया पुलिस ने। तो मुझे लगता है इस मैटर को दबाने की कोशिश महाविकास आघाड़ी सरकार जब थी उन्होंने, और गाइडेंस मिनिस्टर जो अमरावती के थे उन्होंने दबाने की कोशिश किया, और वहाँ पे जो सीपी है, सीपी का बहुत बड़ा रोल है उसके अंदर। उदयपुर जैसी घटना जब हमारे देश में राजस्थान में होती है, उसी स्तर पे घटना अमरावती होने के बाद उस मैटर को लाइटली लेना और रॉबरी जैसे मैटर से कन्वर्ट करके उसको डाइवर्ट करना, तो पूरी तरह से पुलिस जो है, वहाँ के पुलिस कमिश्नर जो आरती सिंह है, वो पूरे वहाँ के जो महाविकास आघाड़ी के जो गाइडेंस मिनिस्टर थे उनके प्रेशर में, उनके प्रभाव में पूरी तरह वो काम कर रहे थे। और मुझे लगता है आज भी धमकियां जो अमरावती में कुछ लोगों को आई है उसमें भी पुलिस ने ध्यान देना चाहिए। एनआईए की टीम
मगर
जो काम
एनआईए जो प्रोब करेगी वो तो हत्या के केस को प्रोब करेगी, आपको लगता है पुलिस का भी रोल इसमें बाहर आएगा?
बिल्कुल आएगा। मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि अमरावती की सीपी पे जिस तरह से उदयपुर में ऑफिसर लोगों पे कार्रवाई हुई, मैं हमारे राज्य के सीएम और डिप्टी सीएम से मांग किया है कि उनके ऊपर पूरी तरह से निलंबन की कार्रवाई होना चाहिए, क्योंकि इसके पहले भी जो अमरावती में हिंदू मुस्लिम के दंगे हुए उसमें बेगुनाह लोगों को कमिश्नर ने महाविकास आघाड़ी सरकार के कहने पे, वहाँ पे गाइडेंस मिनिस्टर के कहने पे उनको लॉकअप में डाला, उनको जेल में डाला, गलत तरीके से ऑफेंस दाखिल किए। अगर एक कमिश्नर,
तो आपको लगता है कि कमिश्नर के अगेंस्ट भी एक्शन लेना चाहिए? एंड टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ दिस, Navneet Rana has also written to the Home Ministry. We'll have to wait and see, however, what happens. Thank you so much, Ravi Rana, for speaking to us here on Times Now. Meanwhile, the NIA, as we were just discussing with Arunil, he tells us that the probe has already begun by the NIA. The larger terror plot, also a possible Pakistani link, is now being looked into. This is a report filed by Arunil.
Been doing this investigation only because the government in the state of Maharashtra has changed. When the government in Maharashtra changed, the ATS team was swiftly moved to Amravati. Before that, the Amravati cops were looking into the case, and we have seen how they were looking, how they were investigating. In fact, very direct questions were posed to the Amravati CP Aarti Singh as well, that when such kind of threatening messages were being put up on social media, on threatening calls were being made to several people in Amravati. These people were giving public apologies on social media. The entire city of Amravati was aware of it. Then why the cops were not aware of it? Why the cops didn't investigate at that time? And immediately after the murder as well, when the cops asked the son of Umesh Kolhe about these WhatsApp messages related to Nupur Sharma, then why it was not diverged in public domain? That is the main question that comes to the fore, because if that information was divulged, then probably the life of Kanhaiya from Udaipur could have been saved. And if these cops would have acted 10 days before the death of Umesh Kolhe, then there was a very big chance. In this case, it was a bright chance that Umesh Kolhe would have been alive now, hell and hearty with his family.
Well, that of course is unfortunate that Kolhe could have survived if there had been timely intervention, which didn't happen. Well, with that, we're going to be slipping into a short break. This, of course, continues to be one of our top focus stories.